Oh. In any case, Chaim, it's nice to see you, and I'm sorry we lost. I saw over there, what's his name? There was it Avi?
I'm still here.
Okay, so let me. My son just walked in from America with his wife, my daughter-in-law. But let's learn, and then I could talk to them. Came in for the wedding. They're so nice. Okay, we were finishing the Matnas Chelko on the 22nd. On the 22nd. Um, he was talking here about making sure you have the right friends, right? Or maybe we finished it.
No, we finished it.
You finished it? Okay, so let's go to the next one. Number 23. Number 23. Vashloisha ve'esrim. Yeah, number 23, Esrim v'shlosha. In his little introduction, he's pointing Hetev b'neflois harabish habois baruch v'oilam. Okay, a person should delve into the wonders of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'yidrash me'atzmi l'hafken hem kama tzumihi ha'chochma. And demand from yourself to understand the tremendous chochma that's in the Bria. Hayachoilis hananhoga ha'toiva hashkocha shalabori yisbarach. Oh, so I have to read you something. Hold on 1 minute. I'll take half a minute to get it. You guys are great.
Only had half a minute, Simon. I do have it. You sure you want us to fix that one? All right, this is for you. And this is for her.
Okay. In this thing, I don't know if you guys ever see it. The Dirshu puts out a weekly, like Shabbos magazine. So I don't have video, so you can't see it. In that case, they're talking about Hakaras Hatayv in this. There's little articles from different people, and he was talking about Hakaras Hatayv, and he tells over a story that happened during the Corona. There was an older guy, he was 93 years old, and he got Corona, and he had to be hospitalized. He was on oxygen for 1 day, and then when he got off it, so the hospital gave him a bill for $5,000 for for 1 day of taking care of the oxygen and everything that goes into it. And he started crying. You got it? He sat down, he started crying. The doctor went over, he said, listen, you don't have to worry. You must have health insurance and you don't have to pay it off at one time. You could spread it into payments until you're 120 years old. So this older man smiled and he said, I'm not crying about the money. He said, I made a cheshbon. He says, I'm 93 years old. That means that I've lived for 33,000 days. He says, and during all those days, I never needed to be on oxygen. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created me, and he gave me the ability to breathe on my own. So if he gives me a cheshbon, you do the math, if it's $5,000 for 1 day, so I owe him $165 million for the gift of being able to breathe.
Oh.
I never thanked him for that. Right? And he says, now what am I going to do about the fact, what would it cost for my whole digestive system that Hakadosh Baruch Hu gives me that runs so well, and if I would have to go to a hospital, what would they charge me to make sure it's working well? Right? And the blood circulation and stuff. He says, I can't, calculate how much I owe HaKadosh Baruch Hu on this tremendous chesed that he did. Like when we hear a saying that a person has to give thought to the wonders that Hashem does, tremendous chachma. When you start thinking about that, so this guy got an awakening when he found out that They're charging him $5,000 to make it possible for him to breathe for one day, and he's been breathing for 93 years. Okay, Hanhogat Teva Hashkocha Shalabor Yisbar. So Esim B'Shloisha, she's pointing in the Flois Haboira. You have to give thought to the wonders of the creation of Hashem. That you have to look at all the wonders that there are in the world. The small creations and the larger ones, the Bamalish, the Adam Ba'ilam, and what person has, the higher spheres, the lower spheres, is he still there? How the moon and the sun travels. These are the different planets and stars. The rain and how the winds blow. The wonders of birth. You have wonders that are so obvious and wonders that are hidden. They all point to the tremendous perfection of Hashem's chokhmah, Yecholta, his ability, Hanagosei, how he runs the world well, his compassion, all of this. And this is really like Shara Bechina, right? He's referring us back to the Shara Bechina that we learned a while ago. And to give some thought, and the more you think about it, how everything works. And don't hold back from wondering and being awakened to to these things. Just because you saw it so many times, you get used to it. It's a given. It's a normal thing. You forget that it's all nisim. Forget that every bit of the bria is a ness. That everything works at such perfection, and there's such perfection in everything. All the chasodim Hashem did made the beautiful world. It didn't have to. The world could have run. It could have been black and white. We've spoken about that. It could be a black and white world. Hashem could have made that. You take a pill and that's enough. You don't have to eat it. Made of such delicious food, so that we can enjoy life and beautiful trees and beautiful scenery. Everything is such a perfect world that we live in. But we're desensitized. In Shara Bechir, if I remember correctly, he says we're desensitized because we're born into it as little kids. We don't have the seichel, appreciate what we're seeing, and by the time we have the seichel, we're just accustomed to it. It's a given. You don't give it any thought. You eat, you breathe, you talk, you walk, you see nice things. So it doesn't speak to you. It doesn't say anything to you. And therefore, but this is the cheshbon nefesh that a person has to make. This is the cheshbon a person has to, take this time to stop from it. I'm reading a book now about Rabbi Yisrael Belsky Zatzal, one of the big Leilim in America. It was nifter not so long ago, but he was one of the heads of the OU's kashrus. He was very well knowledgeable in the ways of the world, technology, and and he would look at things and be so wonderful. He would work in Camp Good. He would take the kids out to learn about the stars. Middle of the night, they were to go out there, and he would describe the whole stars and the whole system and stuff. That's what a person has to do. That has to stop and notice these things. Don't let these wonders be, not be, kal. They shouldn't be called because you're used to them. And they should got to Leroy say something because you got accustomed to seeing them. You've seen them since you're a kid. You're not surprised. You're not surprised. And people breathe. Of course, people breathe, right? So Hashem gave us a little tap on the shoulder, with Corona. No, of course, people don't. You can't say, of course, people breathe. Until someone gets sick, he doesn't realize that the wonders how the body works. Says, even though this is something that most people that live their life and they don't see the wonders. I feel it's a habib neyodam, ashuvin, even by chasher people. That they get like wow, right? When they see something that they're not accustomed to, when you have a sun, what's it called? An eclipse, Brokim, or there's big thunders, Ramim, lightnings, Vidas Adama, right? We just went through an earthquake. I mean, here they say, I didn't feel it. They said it was felt in Yerushalayim, 3 earthquakes. I didn't feel any of them, Baruch Hashem. But the news coming from Turkey and Syria is pretty scary.
Yes.
Right? They're talking about more than 11,000 people dead now. Tremendous numbers, right? So they say, wow, earthquake, right? Unbelievable. Sorrow when you have a but they don't, it doesn't touch them when they look at the sky and the sun comes up and the moon comes up and the world turns, okay, this is nothing. Oh, Mamash, what I said, the sun coming up, the sun going down, you read this like a shomim. It rained here, right? It hadn't rained almost the whole winter, and it's pouring, right? Okay, we're happy it rained, we down the rain, but we don't see the wonders of rain. We don't see the wonders, you take out Rav Avigdor Mill and he described how out there in the oceans and it's salty water and you have an evaporation, and by doing that it separates it from the salt and it rises up to the sky, but then you still need the winds to bring it over here, and then when it decides it's going to come down, right? That whole cycle is so wondrous, but we don't see the wonders. And other similar things that they're accustomed to. They always see it. They are full of wonder when they see this the ocean and the waves and how it's there's and all the wondrous, I guess, fish and stuff. You go to aquariums and you see these unbelievable fish. You're not used to seeing them because they're underneath. Now you're seeing them. But when they see rivers and they see springs, that doesn't talk to them. They have these things that run constantly 24/7, and it's just a given. He says, even though there are many people like that, and even smart people, but you don't have to be like that, he says. You have to make a stop and think and appreciate the wonders. That's the Ramban. The Ramban at the end of Parshas Boy, that he says that from the wondrous Nisim that Hashem did in Mitzrayim, we come to realize that even the natural, the small Nisim, are also tremendous miracles. Maybe it's one of the reasons we always remember Zecher Yetzias Mitzrayim. It's all over our davening. It's all over everything, because we have to be that realization that everything is a miracle. Everything is from Hashem. There's nothing that's nature. We call nature the miracles that are regular, and we call miracles the things that are, out of the system. But the truth is that nature is also a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Both those miracles that you're accustomed to, and those that you're not accustomed to, whether you've seen them already, and your foolishness, that because of that, when you were young, you never gave it thought. When you started seeing them, it's not a reason that now that I'm older and smarter and my mind's developed, that I shouldn't stop and give thought to it. V'sichocha his bagir, libcha his daki. Now you're already more mature. Ubinoska higia. Eliyu dvarim el beinecha ki larisa. Sometimes you have to take a new look, as if it's something you never saw and it's a wonder. With tatar latzcha kilo yisa ivel of nations b'nanta b'hem. Put yourself as if, let's say, I was blind until now, and now I suddenly see it. A blind person opens up his eyes and he sees the sun shining, he sees the moon, and he sees the colors. It's mind-boggling. You know, I was telling my grandchildren over Shabbos, after 40 years in the Midbar, they came to Eretz Yisrael, and suddenly they saw that things grow from the ground. Bread comes from the ground. And it must have been the biggest miracle in their eyes that, like Rav Migdal says, you take a little seed, you put it into the mud, and you make more mud, you pour water on it. And from that little seed grows a tree and grows plants and fruit and leaves. And it's the biggest miracle in the world. And for 40 years, they thought that, food comes from the sky. That's the normal thing. Then you look up and the food comes down. So they come in here and there's crazy miracles. Crazy things that don't make any sense. How does you take this little apple seed, you put it into the ground? From where does it develop? And where does it have the ability to develop? And how does it develop into a tree with hundreds of apples and with the ability to reproduce and have more seeds and make, orchard trees from this little thing? We have to stop for a minute and give it thought. All right, we'll stop here. All right. Thank you. Thank you for sending it up. Thank you.
All right, Shkach, Rabbi. Thank you.
Long lost friend.
How are you?
Okay.
I